Palestinian health authorities report nearly 410 people dead in a new Israeli attack following the operation of the Palestinian resistance defending their territories. In Ecuador, the Attorney General's office initiated an investigation into the responsibility of the National Service for the Care of Persons Deprived of Liberty for the death of 6 inmates implicated in the murder of Fernando Villavicencio. And in Afghanistan, a series of earthquakes shocked the country border with Israel, leaving 2,000 deaths and more than 1,000 wounded. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll be with the news. Stay with us. The Palestinian Ministry of Health confirmed the death of 413 Palestinians as a result of the Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip. Among the deaths, 78 children and 31 women were included. Moreover, more than 2,300 people were injured. However, this figure is expected to increase. Operation Iron Sword was announced by the Israeli Ministry of Defense in response to the attempt of the Palestinian resistance to recover its territory. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas ordered the government and the relevant authorities to immediately send all available resources to help the people in the Gaza Strip currently under Israeli aggressions. The Palestinian leader recalled that the people of Gaza are not alone in the face of this Israeli aggression, just like the rest of the occupied Palestinian territories. In this regard, he demanded do everything possible to immediately alleviate the suffering of these Palestinian citizens under the Israeli aggressions. Abbas held Tel Aviv responsible for cutting off basic supplies, including water, electricity, and food, to the people of Gaza, and called the international community to intervene urgently and compel the Israeli occupation authorities to fulfill their legal obligations toward the Palestinian people. The ongoing conflict in the Gaza Strip makes the situation more and more serious. The death toll is rising sharply and hospitals are very busy treating all the injured. Our correspondent from Gaza, Noor Harasen, gives us more details about the current situation there.
The situation is just going from bad to worse here in the Gaza Strip, with the series and the ongoing Israeli airstrikes on the coastal enclave. The latest, where the Israeli warplanes targeted an 11-floor building. It is called Al-Husari building. It is located in Al-Rimal Street, which is a very densely populated area. We call it the downtown Gaza because it is full of markets and shops. This 11-story building was brought to the ground, also causing damages to the shops and buildings surrounding this place. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, the number of Palestinians killed in Gaza is over 400, with dozens of children. However, they refuse to give us a certain number, and this is because the rapid update and casualties arriving to the hospitals. The situation in Gaza, the humanitarian situation, is deteriorating. The electricity here in Gaza cuts for almost 8 to 12 hours a day. The infrastructure of the Gaza Strip is partly damaged. People here suffer from the cutting of the internet and the very bad signals, the very bad connections, rarely any electricity, any water. Also, the situation in the Palestinian hospitals is really bad. Today there was a conference by the Palestinian Health Ministry. They said that the fuel in the hospitals will only last for a few days. After that, the hospital will shut down and will not be able to treat the people who are injured. For now, the Palestinian people are waiting to see what will be upcoming to them in the next few hours and days. Noor Harazin, teleSUR, Gaza.
The Palestinian resistance update on the second day of operation against the Israeli government, the number of occupiers, units, and equipments that have been neutralized. Hamas, the Islamic resistance movements carried out operational Al-Qassad flood, reported that 14 Israeli tanks were captured, as well as several Mekhavas model, which serves as transport units for military personnel. They also reported F-16 fighter jets shot down on the dividing line while maintaining an offensive against a military base in the area. Faced with the versatility of the attacks and the inability to repel them, the Israeli command ordered the transfer of supplies and equipment to another airfield. Israeli authorities deployed troops in the occupied territories bordering the Gaza Strip, and given the possibility of protecting the nationals occupying the borders, will proceed to evict them. On Saturday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who confined Gazans for 15 years, ordered them to leave. On Sunday, the ones who are leaving are Israeli citizens who for more than 24 hours begged for help while the militias took over settlements. The Israel Defense Forces spokesman Daniel Agari, after acknowledging that there are a large number of hostages in the hands of the Palestinian resistance and that they are still fighting to rescue them, assured that they will kill all the terrorists. In this context, the Lebanese army confirmed on Sunday civilians wounded after the Israeli army attack with unmanned aerial vehicle against Hezbollah installation. The Lebanese militia reported that the military units belonging to Israel bombed with artillery and tanks at the outskirts of several localities. The bombardment made with shells and rockets caused injuries to citizens who were transferred to a hospital in the area. The Israeli action is a response to attack by the Lebanese armed organization in solidarity with its Palestinian forces in operation in Al-Qassad. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shatayyeh says that the security solution adopted by Israel will not be beneficial.
We make clear to the world that the security solutions adopted by Israel will not be of any benefit. The only solution lies in ending the occupation through a political program adopted by the United Nations Security Council and the international community, and on the basis of the Arab Peace Initiative. From the very beginning of the events unfolding in the Gaza Strip, we initiate Arab and international efforts to halt the aggression and put an end to the bloodshed. President Mahmoud Abbas received numerous calls from world leaders and engaged in several phone conversations with them.
The United Nations Security Council will analyze on Sunday the complex situation in the Middle East after the escalation of the conflict between Palestine and Israel. According to the organization's announcement, the meeting will take place at 3 p.m. New York time and will be closed to the public. The agenda will focus on the situation in the Middle East, including the Palestinian question. The goal comes after Brazil, which holds the presidency of the Council, decided this Saturday that it will convene an emergency meeting of the body in view of the serious escalation of violence between the Palestinian militias and the illegal settlements. Pope Francis called on Sunday for the cessation of the new armed confrontation between Israel and Palestine, which began last Saturday morning, and lamented the loss of human life. In his words pronounced from the window of his study in the Vatican Apostolic Palace, the Supreme Pontiff told the faithfuls and pilgrims gathered in St. Peter's Square that he follows with comprehension and pain what is happening. Francisco referred to the violence between Israel and Palestine in the most furious way and how it is causing hundreds of deaths and wounded. Let's take a very short break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. In Ecuador, the Attorney General's office initiated an investigation into the responsibility of the National Service for the Care of Persons Deprived of Liberty as night for the death of 6 inmates implicated in a murder of Fernando Villavicencio. The Public Prosecutor's Office denounced as night for non-compliance with an order to transfer the detainees who were found lifeless in the Penitenciaria del Litoral in Guayaquil to a security prison. The inmates were arrested for allegedly participating in the murder of the presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio. The prosecutor's office detailed that a chief and 2 of the guards in charge of safeguarding the accused are presenting their testimonies to the authorities. In Colombia, the government informed that it will deploy more than 120,000 troops of the National Army to guarantee the security of voters in the territorial elections on October the 29th. The strategy is a part of the Democracy 2023 plan and contains the deployment of 120,193 armed forces personnel in coordination with the National Police, the Airspace Forces, and the Navy. The troops will guarantee the security of the 4,611 prioritized voting centers distributed among 5,605 in urban areas and 7,212 in rural areas. Panama authorities reported that close to 500 irregular migrants were rescued after being abandoned in the jungle of Darien. According to a report issued by the National Border Service of Panama, most of those rescued were abandoned to their fate by human trafficking gangs that control the trails in the jungle bordering Colombia. He details that 19 people have been arrested and 12 boats used for illegal human trafficking have been seized. The record proved that more than 400,000 people crossed the jungle Darien so far in 2023. In Spain, thousands of citizens mobilized in the city of Barcelona against Pedro Sánchez and the amnesty. The demonstrators demand a vindication after Alberto Núñez Feijóo lost his presidential investor attempt in the Congress after 2 rounds of failed votes. In this context, the mobilization marched under the slogan, "Not in my name, no amnesty, no self-determination," as an expression of the rejection of the constitutional amnesty proposed by the PSOE. In India, the number of deaths has risen to 56 following the overflowing of the Loag Lake in the Himalayan village in the northeastern of the country. Local authorities report that during the search operation for the missing in the region of Sikkim, 26 bodies were found, in addition to the 30 previously confirmed. At the same time, search and rescue teams attended to more than 2,400 people, while at least 7,000 victims were moved to shelters. So the Ministry of Defense added that the water swept away dozens of buildings, bridges, and other civil infrastructure. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi re-election campaign announced on Saturday that he had received the support of 424 members of the 596 seats lower house of the country's parliament to run for a 3rd term. El-Sisi confirms earlier this week that he will run for another term in the elections scheduled for December, entering the race as a clear favorite as his government struggled with rising inflation and mounting debt. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. For a financial break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Afghanistan, near 2,000 people have died in an earthquake that sold western on Saturday, that says Mulad Jansek, spokesperson for the Ministry of Disaster Management. Authorities says 9,240 people are injured and 1,320 houses damaged or destroyed. A powerful earthquake has struck Afghanistan, rocking the mountainous country and leaving a trail of death and destruction. A magnitude 6.3 earthquake followed by 3 strong aftershocks hit western Afghanistan on Saturday. The President of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, formalized his candidacy for the elections of next December 20, in which he will seek a second term. The leader of the government coalition, Scrum Union of the Nation, presented his candidacy in Kinshasa before the Independent National Electoral Commission, where he arrived in a convoy and shows support to the Central Boulevard of June 30 headquarters of the organization. The deadline to present candidacies before the Electoral Commission expires on Sunday. Once the process is completed, the Constitutional Court must give final validation. The military junta that came to power in Niger through a coup at the end of July announced a drastic reduction in the national budget for 2023 due to the various international sanctions which affect the country's economy, which depend mostly on foreign partners. According to the statement of the regime in a press release, Nigeria has faced heavy sanctions imposed by the international and regional organizations. These sanctions expose the countries to a significant drop in both external and internal revenues. Therefore, it is necessary to revise the 2023 budget forecast. Hundreds of Muslims and conservative Christians in Kenya's capital rallied outside the Supreme Court to protest its decision last month to reaffirm the LGBTQ community's rights of association. Protesters says that the verdict condemns immorality and demands that some judges steps down. The court last month reaffirmed an early ruling that no governmental organizations abroad in Kenya had discriminating against LGBTQ people when it presumes to register their association. And now we change the subject to update you on the conflict between Palestine and Israel. For this, we will have the report of the correspondent Akram Dalulu, who tell us more about the advance of the Israeli troops and the current state of the Palestinian resistance.
Palestinian resistance fighters who are still hiding inside Israeli site and settlements located east of the Gaza Strip continue to wage a new day of confrontation. Palestinian resistance fighters, specifically from the Martyr East al-Din al-Qassam brigades, entered these settlements in the first moment of Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. In Israel, it is said that a large number of these Palestinian resistance fighters are entrenched inside several settlements which the Israeli army has not yet been able to enter in the current state of fighting, and also given the arrest of a large number of Israeli settlers. Israeli warplanes are involved in the breakthrough attempt, but this attempt remains unsuccessful. In addition, Palestinian factions said that more landing operations were carried out and supported by forces operating on the Gaza border with more capabilities, equipment and reinforcement.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also use us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.